Good afternoon, everyone. Pastor Janet here to talk about why a book cover is so important. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's say that you go to a big event and everybody is all wearing their best and all dressed up and flashy, and so you're sitting there and you're watching people come in. Now, a lot of people come in that are dressed nice, but all of a sudden, that one person walks in that just catches your eye just like that. Why? Now you saw a whole bunch of other people come in dressed fine and fancy and everything, but this one, something stood out. The style, the color, the design of the outfit or whatever it was that they had on really caught your attention. Now that's the way a book cover has to be. You go to a bookstore, you see all kind of books, but all of a sudden you can be just flipping through books and you come across a certain cover that just captures your attention. You like the way it's designed, the style of it, the wording, the font size, everything. The color, all of that attracts you. That's what you must have if you're going to sell your book. Now, maybe you can't do marketing right now. Maybe you're a new author and you don't have the money to do all that stuff. But you can find people who will design book covers that are just trying to get started that will be very cheap. And you tell them what you want. Now you have to know what you want. If your book is a fantasy, romance, fiction, autobiography, you have to know what you want so they can get an idea how to design for you. Sometimes authors even have their own idea of what kind of design they want. Like say you're writing a fantasy, you want a picture of a spaceship, something like Star Trek that's going to catch people's attention. Well, that would, because they'd look at it and say, oh, that reminds me of Star Trek, the way the ships look, or Star Trek Voyager, or Star Trek Enterprise. So you get an idea what you want this book to look like. That's giving them an idea. So that's the most important thing for doing your book cover design. You've got to have an idea what you want. And designing the book cover, the right colors, the right font, the right spacing, everything, all that has to be together so that you can get an idea. Something like I design my own book covers. That's what I do. I design my own book covers. I love doing design work, and all my covers, mostly ones that you see, will be designed by me. I have a few that have been designed by other people that I know that are book cover designers, and they're very good too. So there are a lot of good people out there that don't charge a whole bunch of money to do the book cover for you. But that's the most important marketing you will do other than paying to have marketing done. Because the cover sells everything. Like I said, you see a person walk in the room and all of a sudden you've seen millions of people walk in or hundreds of people walk in, but that one stood out. Why? Well, you might say, I like the dress she had on, I like the color, I like the style, I like the way she looked. All that's important. It's the same thing with your book cover. A book cover has to catch their attention right off the bat. Like I said, you can go in the bookstore and you can look through a lot of books. All suddenly you'll come across that one that you'll say, I like this cover. So you pick it up, you look at it, and that's the first thing that's going to sell the book. It's the cover. And how you word the cover. See, the cover, when you make a book cover, you got to write the right words. Maybe you might want them large words, you might want a small font. And then how are you going to write your name? All that is decided on the cover. So when you write a book and you think about the cover, you're writing your story, get in your mind right off the bat, what kind of cover would be for this book? Now, maybe you've only written 2 or 3 chapters, but there's nothing wrong with thinking about the cover ahead of time. If the story, like I said, if it's a romance, maybe you want a picture of a man and a woman on the front holding hands. Or if it's outer space, like I said, you might want a picture of like a Star Trek type of ship, with aliens and stuff like that. Or if you're writing a Western, you might want a picture of cowboys. What are they doing? All that stuff comes into the book cover. And that's the first marketing that will ever be saw before you can pay for marketing. They can put the books out there, but once your book gets on that shelf, that cover is going to sell your book. So you got to get the right marketing. Companies will do that. They have people that will design book covers for you. But you should know exactly what you want before you do that. Because a lot of them will design covers with just words. But let me tell you, design consists of background, pictures, font style. You want all of that to draw your reader in. So even before they see the book, if they're looking on shelves, I've done that. I've walked into places and looked at books on shelves, and suddenly I'll just stop and say, this looks like it's a really good book. And then I'll pick it up, and then I'll read the blurb. We're going to talk about that next. That's coming up too, about the blurb, why that's important. But the cover is the one basic thing that's going to be important before anybody sees your book. They'll see the cover first. They may not even see your name, but the cover will draw them in. That's what you want. You want to draw them into the story even before they know what it is. The cover does that. So you want to pick an appropriate cover for the book. You want to make everything fall in line. That cover is so important. So take time with your covers when you are having your book designed. If you're doing it yourself or if somebody else is doing it, tell them exactly what you want, so they will know right off the bat that this is what this person wants. And then they'll give you 2 or 3 different options. Do you like this font style? Do you like this color? Or do you like this design? Or do you like this next design? They usually give you 4 or 5 designs to choose from. And so think of it like this way. Don't think as a writer, think as a reader. Look at those covers and think, now if I was walking in the store, which one would attract my attention the most? And that's what you want to do. You want to attract the attention of the reader. You want them to stop and pick that book up and read, and that's what sells. So covers, that's one of the most important things of your book. Once your book is written, the publisher accepted, and it's all been edited and everything, that cover comes next. And usually most of these big companies now have cover designers. They'll design for you, but don't let them handle the whole design. Sometimes these companies will do that. They'll design the book cover without asking you what you want. And then when you see the book cover, you say, I don't like this. This doesn't depict what I want to show to the public. So make sure you know what you want. Tell them what you want, even if they're the company that's designing it. If it's not what you want, don't take it. Don't take it. Make sure that it's exactly what you want, because that's what's most important in selling your book, that cover. The style, the fonts, the wording, the design, the color, all of that. All of that is so important when you are trying to sell your book to the reader. So when you get all that done and it's gone to the publisher and they're talking about the covers and you pick the right cover, then switch hats. Don't be the author, be the reader. Excuse me. And look at that book as if you were walking in a bookstore. Would that interest you? Would you stop and pick it up to see if this is really what you want to read? So many books I pass in the bookstore, I look at some of the covers and I think, oh, I don't want to read that. Well, why did I say that? Because it set something off in me that said, this is not going to be a good story. I don't like the cover. It looks frightening. It looks, bad. So you want a cover that when people stop and see that book, they'll say, whoa, I like this. I wonder what this story is about. And that's what you want. You want them to say, I wonder what this story is about, and pick it up and start checking everything out. Okay, so that's what you want with a book cover. That is one of the most important ways you will ever sell your book before any marketing is done. Because a lot of writers starting out don't have money for marketing. It costs a lot. So if you can do your own work, or if you have a company that's going to do it for you for a reasonable price, make sure it's what you want, not what they want. Because now you got to remember, they want to make money. And most of the areas making money now are fantasy, romances, stuff. So they're going to try to design a cover that's going to attract to the people that they've been selling to all along. But you have to decide what you want, because it's your book. It's your baby. So you have to decide what you want, that you want to tell the people, this is my idea. This cover was made just for me, and I made it because I want you to look at the cover and want to buy the book. So take time with the cover. That's initially so important. People look at the cover. Just like I said, if you walk into a room and you see a lot of people, they're all dressed, all of a sudden one person catches your eye. Why did that person catch your eye? The way they were dressed, the style, the hairstyle, everything. The color, the clothing, everything. That's your book cover. Everything's got to fall into place. That catches you. When you look up and say, oh, boy, she's stunning. Well, why is she stunning? Well, I like what she has on. I like her hair color. I like the style of clothing and her makeup. Everything is just perfect. That's what you want your book to be. It's got to be the perfect cover for you, because it's depicting what you are trying to sell to the reader. So like I said, companies will have designers, but they may not always design what you want. They're thinking in their mind the way they would design the book as just a book cover. They're not thinking about the story. All this stuff has to fall in line. The story, the plot, everything has to come in contact with that book cover. That book cover has to speak to them before they ever turn one page. So that's what I wanted to tell you about a book cover. So I hope this helps you out. Now we're going to talk about, I think the next one is on tomorrow, about the blurb, the back of the book. Why that's important. Okay, so I'll see you guys later. Have a great afternoon. Love you guys. Bye-bye now.